Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are safe staying at home. Today we are going to learn the lesson Earth Movements and Seasons, which is in chapter 3. Human beings live along with a large community of plants and animals. We can observe constant change in our surroundings in the course of the year. The flowering and fruiting of trees and plants, changes in the animal activity, etc. As months pass by, you would notice that trees shed leaves, stand bare, new shoots come forth, leaves grow again, they flower and give fruits. You may also have noticed that in different times of the year, we get different kinds of vegetables and fruits. In some months, it is very hot, and in some, it is very cold or wet. Most of the Indian subcontinent witnesses broadly summer, monsoon, or winter. The far south, like Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Andamans, do not experience much cold during the winter season because it is in the coastal area and it is very nearer to the equator also. Likewise, the summer season is very brief in the northeastern states. Most of North India, however, witnesses all the 3 seasons with warm summers. And you can see here, and rainy monsoons, which are very wet at some places, which cause floods also at some places, and cold winters. Ancient Sanskrit literature divides the year into 6 seasons, adding an intermediate season between each of the 3 main seasons. These are called ritus. The 6 ritus are Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Hemanta, and Shishira. Each season is associated with certain agricultural operations and festivals. During the Sharad Ritu season, festivals like Deepavali are celebrated. A number of crop harvesting festivals such as Lohri, Pongal, and Makar Sankranti are celebrated at the end of this season. Subpolar and temperate regions of the world typically experience 4 seasons of summer, spring, autumn, and winter. Children, find out the name of the country that is called the land of the midnight sun and locate it on the globe. Find out its latitude and compare it with the latitude of Telangana. And now we are going to ponder about some questions which you have been thinking of. How are the seasons changing? Why is it hot in some areas and cold in some areas at the same time? Which continent is located entirely to the north of the equator? Which continent is located entirely to the south of the equator? Is there any continent that is spread on both sides of the equator? Children, you are not the only ones with such questions. For thousands of years, human beings have been curious about these matters and over time have worked out the answers. Let us try to understand why seasons change, why are some parts of the earth are warm and some are cold, and why are the seasons opposite in the northern and southern hemispheres. Now, factors affecting the seasons. Several factors are there which affect the occurring of seasons. The important 4 points can be discussed like this. The first one, the spherical shape of the earth and the curvature of its surface. Second one, daily rotation of the earth on its own curvature. Third point, the tilt of the axis of rotation compared to the plane on which the earth moves. The earth movement around the sun once a year, which can be called revolution. And now the first point, curvature of the earth. You have already studied the impact of the spherical shape of the earth and how this causes distribution of heat over the earth's surface differently. How the region around the equator becomes warmer than those near the poles. And the second point, earth's rotation on its own axis. Earth rotates or goes around just like a top spins. What does it go around? It actually rotates around an imaginary line which joins the North Pole and the South Pole. This line is called the axis of the Earth's rotation. All parts of the Earth go around this line once a day. In other words, the Earth takes about 24 hours to rotate or go around its own axis. It moves from the west to the east. The first and foremost effect of Earth's rotation is the daily alternation of day and night, as portions of Earth's surface are turned first towards and then away from the sun. This variation is the exposure to sunlight greatly influences the local temperature and movements. Children, here you can find the tilting of the earth, rotating around itself and also revolving around the sun. In this picture, please observe carefully. And just think, children, what would happen if the earth did not rotate on its own axis? What will happen to the earth? Earth's tilt and revolution around the sun. The earth revolves around the sun while rotating around its own axis. That is, it spins like a top and at the same time keeps moving forward around the sun. The motion of the earth around the sun is called revolution. Each revolution takes about 365 days and 5.56 hours. This is the length of a year on the earth. Just think, children, how does this cause the formation of seasons on the earth? What is causing this all? Earth's revolution around the sun. The earth goes around the sun on a regular path, which is also called orbit, on a level plane in open space. This is called orbit plane. The earth axis of rotation does not stand vertical, but it is on this plane, but it is tilted on it so as to form a 66.5 degrees angle. In other words, it is tilted by 23.5 degrees. To understand this idea, look at the following pictures very carefully. Now the first picture is about tilt of the earth on its own axis, where you will find axial tilt of the earth. Now seasons in the north and south hemisphere occur due to this tilt. Here also you can find one picture, children. Observe carefully. Now, temperature belts on the earth. We saw earlier that when the solar rays strike the earth's surface, they fall straight in portions which face the sun directly and fall at an angle as you move away from that portion. The angle keeps increasing as we move towards the two poles. As a result, it is hotter in the areas which face the sun directly and less hot in the areas that receive the sun rays at an angle. On March 21st and September 23rd, throughout the world, the day and night are equal in size. So, these 2 days are called equinoxes. And now, we'll observe temperature belts. What are the areas which are very hot? What are the areas which are very cold? You can see that there is a belt within which the direct rays of the sun fall at some time of the year or the other. This belt extending from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn is called the tropical belt. This belt gets the maximum heat energy from the sun. As we move northwards or southwards of the tropical belt, we reach a region where it gets warm in summer but also very cold in winters. This is the temperate zone. The northern portions of this region get snowfall in winters. If you move further north or south of the temperate belt, you will reach polar belt. Children, in the next picture you will find the temperate belts. From Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn, the place which is indicated in red color is called the tropical belt. And if you move north or southwards, you can find up to the blue line, which is called the Arctic Circle on the north side and Antarctic Circle in the south side. That place is called temperate zone. And you always know that polar regions are very cold and they are frigid zones. Northern lights visible in northern polar region occur during the seasons when the sun does not rise above the horizon. Horizon is the point where the sun rises. Here in this picture you can find the temperate zones or temperate belts, temperature belts throughout the year. In each month the temperature belts are changing. Thank you children for listening to the lesson carefully.